Hey guys, this episode is brought to you by the homies. The homies are the Black Window Cream supporters who contribute to us on Patreon. Without you guys, running this podcast would not be possible. And if you want to get next week's podcast episode a week early, plus a bunch of other dope-ass perks, become a homie on our Patreon page at jointhehomies.com or just the regular link, patreon.com/blackwindowcream. We fucking love you. And we are back with another Black Window Cream Morning Roast podcast episode. I'm your host, Ben Haggerty, aka Ben Real vs. World. Today is episode number 53, titled Say Yes and Figure It Out Later. If you are new to the midweek Morning Roast episodes, let me explain what you are about to dip into. The goal of the Morning Roast is to provide you with some midweek motivation and help you kill the game even more than you already are. I've been lucky enough to find some mild success in my career. It's been a fucking long-ass journey to get to this point, but I've learned a lot. So I'm trying to wake you guys up and give you some mad shortcuts so you can dodge a lot of the mistakes that I made and then turn your shit up to 10. I encourage you to jot down 3 takeaways that you get from this episode and post them on your Instagram story, tagging Black Window Cream. We actually made a little worksheet, which you can find in our Instagram highlights right now, or download it by clicking the link in the show notes of this audio or video. If yours is fire, I'll screenshot it and I'm going to read it in the next week's podcast episode, which will be cool. But you want to know what else will be cool? Is sharing some wisdom with your audience and encouraging them to go a little harder in their day-to-day shit that they do. All right, that's it. Leave us a review on YouTube or iTunes so that they know we are lit. That helps us a fuck ton to help find, other creators that are searching for tools and tips and tricks and things like that. So definitely leave a review. We are dropping new merch this month. We have designs. They are insane. That's all I'm about to say. So be ready, you bitch. But if you really, really want to be ready and get some discounts on the merch too when it drops, support us on our Patreon page. Each tier offers a bigger and bigger discount. We appreciate you a fuck ton. Thank you so much for fucking with your boys. Patreon.com/blackwindowcream. Yeah. So enjoy the work week. Keep creating. Make sure to tune in every Wednesday and Sunday for a new Black Window Cream episode. And without further ado, I bring to you another banger of a Morning Roast episode and the most epic podcast intro ever created right motherfucking now.
Attention.
If you stop this podcast recording at any time, you will die.
I don't want to die.
Do you want to live?
You have 24 hours to share this podcast with 5 people or you will die.
I'm kidding, you won't die. You're just weak shit for not sharing.
And the winner of the best motherfucking podcast goes to...
Black with no cream.
What do you think?
It's so fucking dumb and so fucking Ben Haggerty.
I knew you would say that. What do you think is the biggest thing that holds you back from reaching the next level as an artist? I think this answer is different for everyone, but it's important to reflect on what you think is holding you back. I think something that holds back a lot of creators is internal fear and self-doubt. I think it's natural as artists to be kind of subconsciously afraid of what we are able to accomplish. We have high expectations for our work, and we fear not living up to the standard that we hold for ourselves. We fear under-delivering on a promise. We fear completely failing. This fear leads us to want to limit ourselves to projects, roles, and ideas that we are comfortable with, that we know we can knock out of the park. It leads us to avoid taking on roles that are bigger than the responsibilities we are used to. It limits us from implementing bigger and more challenging ideas into our projects. It limits us from having to learn daunting new skills or having to put ourselves in challenging situations. Remember this: comfortable is the enemy of growth. Today, I want to talk about a mindset and a mantra that I've always tried to follow in my career. It's something that I think will help you grow as an artist in this year, and that is say yes and figure it out later. What this is all about is taking on projects, opportunities, or ideas that you aren't even fully sure you can pull off. It's about pushing your perceived limitations of what you can handle as an artist. Even more so, it's about actively seeking situations that sit just outside where you're comfortable creatively. Why is that? Because this is where you can find growth. That's how you take your career to the next level. You will only grow as an artist if you challenge yourself to take on situations that you cannot handle. If you continue to run the wheel back and take projects that are well within your comfort zone, you will be stuck running in place in your career development. It's your experience taking on projects that are daunting that is going to provide you with the confidence to tackle bigger and bigger projects. Here's a good example. One of my longtime best friends, Jason Hall, taught me a very important lesson a long fucking time ago. The lesson came from him saying, just commit and drop in. When we were in 3rd or 4th grade, we wanted to be the illest inline skaters that ever existed, due to having watched that Disney movie Brink. We would skate the neighborhood and build shitty jumps, but there was no progression. We were also like 11 years old, but we were dope. Eventually, our city built a skate park complete with ramps, boxes, rails, and quarter pipes. Jason left his rollerblades behind and basically told me if I showed up to the skate park with my blades, I was a pussy. He told me the cool thing to do is to ride a skateboard. So we eventually got skateboards, and Jason became really, really good. He pressured me to drop in from the quarter pipe, which was only about 4 feet high. I was fucking terrified. I climbed up to the top, set my skateboard up on the coping, put my back foot down, and the board just sat there and tilted over the edge. And I just stood there staring at it, just staring at the drop. Jason was teaching me how to do it and everything, and all he told me was the longer I wait, the more scared I will be, and I'll probably never do it. Just commit and drop in. So I did it. I dropped in, and I fucking fell. But it didn't hurt that bad. So I got back up, and I tried it again and again and again, and guess what? I fucking got that shit, and I started learning new tricks right after it. You have to commit and drop in to get to the next level. No matter how nervous or scared you may be, you just gotta do it. And a note on confidence, even the most experienced directors, producers, and artists oftentimes aren't even sure how they're going to pull off a project when they accept it. I promise you, no one really knows what they're doing, and everyone's just trying out things until something works. But the difference is that they are confident that they will figure it out because they have done it time and time before. That's the key. Confidence comes from repeated action. Another good example is the time my boy Marcus Frisky threw me my first directing job from EA Sports. With production and the talent fees and everything included, this was a 6-figure budget. I had never truly directed any videos on this level. Marcus was my friend, and he knew that I could handle the payload, so I fully sent it. I assembled a crew, came up with some amazing creative, and delivered high above what I was asked to do. I just moved with confidence, and I had been studying the GOATs for years, preparing for this opportunity if it ever came my way. And it did. And I was ready. And even though I didn't fully know what I was doing, I still attacked it with confidence. The key is that you have to allow yourself to take on those situations and put to rest the fear that you might fail. This isn't true for everyone, but pressure brings the best out of you. It forces you to think on your toes and be resourceful. It kicks you into another gear and makes you better for it. So next time you're facing an opportunity or a project or an idea that you aren't sure you can fully pull off and it makes you a little scared, just know that you are in the right place. You are heading towards growth. So instead of shying away from it or passing on it, say yes and figure it out later. Thank you for listening to this week's episode. Like always, write down 3 lessons you learned from this episode. We are going to post a template on the Black with No Cream Instagram highlights for you to screenshot. You can take that, put it in your story, write down your notes in the fucking thing, and upload it to your story so we can see it. I want to see what you guys think, and I will share the best review on next week's episode like I'm about to do right now. So last week, her Instagram handle is @CarolShowsUp. She sent us a screenshot of her worksheet, and these were her takeaways. I also want to point out that she has done it every week, and they are the most in-depth takeaways ever. I love reading these. Thank you, Carol, for sending them. So last week's episode was called Stop Comparing Yourself to Other Creators. And she made a general note that says following dope artists on Instagram is beneficial for finding daily inspiration and the humble reminder that there is room to grow in your craft. However, do not compare yourself. Bear in mind. And then she wrote her 3 takeaways. Her takeaway number 1 says, the number one thing that will hold you back from growing is the voice that says your work isn't good enough because it doesn't look like theirs. Stop letting other careers and accomplishments deter you from being confident in what you are building in your own career. I agree. Number 2, you don't see the entire progression of what made these successful artists who they are today. Shitty drawings happened. Shitty songs happened. And number 3, put your head down and create what resonates with you. All pieces you thought were shitty will play a part in creating your best work. Thank you for sending me that, Carol. I appreciate it. Make sure you guys, if you're going to write down your takeaways, to tag us on Instagram so I could screenshot that shit and read them next week. Lastly, if this podcast episode impacted you and got you fired up, again, you should become a motherfucking homie on our Patreon page. We couldn't appreciate you enough for doing so. It'll help us keep building this platform and just providing things to creators. We're super passionate about this. We're building up the podcast. We're trying to kick out more content as much as we can. So anything you guys can do to help us will be clutch as fuck. I think you can join for as low as like $5 a month, which is like, just don't get a Subway sandwich, you feel me? And that shit will just go back towards building up Black with No Cream and making this a better community for everyone. So yeah, if you want to do that, patreon.com/blackwindowcream. And yeah, we appreciate it and hope the perks help, and we'll just keep working to make the Patreon page better. That's it. Enjoy the work week. New episode every single Wednesday and Sunday, which means I will see you on Sunday, you